happy International Yoga Day. I am Elin Hemnes and I'm here with Lise Knudsen today.
Hi, happy Yoga Day.
So today, Lisa and I were having a little talk about yoga for self-care and mindfulness. So we're going to dive into topics like our morning routine, listening to your body, and adapting your self-care to your monthly cycle, if you have that, and also how to integrate the oils and different routines into your yoga practice, into your yoga studio, into your daily life. So let me just introduce myself a little bit first. So again, my name is Elin. I'm a Blue Diamond leader in doTERRA. I'm also a yoga teacher and yogi. I love doing yoga. It just fills me up so much. And I also love working with other women and help them to just take care of themselves in a deeper way. So like take themselves seriously, put themselves as a priority. And that can come from all kinds of self-care like yoga and meditation and oils, which we're all going to talk about today. And also I have with me Lisa, who's the owner of Hot Yoga Sola. That's a yoga studio in Norway. And she is a busy woman with a lot of different amazing projects. So she has her own clothing line with yoga merchandise. It's called Hot Yogini. And she also has a virtual online yoga studio. She runs retreats. And she's an athlete. She does martial arts, wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And she used to be a lawyer. And she ended up here in doing all of these amazing yoga things. So we're happy to have you on here and have this little chat with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great. I love to talk about yoga and oils, so that's awesome.
So the first thing I want to talk about with you is like the morning routine and self-care, because we both really value having a good routine and taking care of ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. So kind of let's share a little bit on what you do and what I do to help us get on track every morning. Why don't you start?
Yeah, I mean, of course, if I have time for a full yoga class in the morning, fantastic. I love it. But let's be realistic. Putting little short morning routines that you always have time for, that's key. So my personal favorite is a drink of water with lemon. I do my dry body brushing, which I've been doing since I'm 15, but now I'm adding a couple of drops of whatever oil I feel like that day. There's a few favorites. I love grapefruit, for instance. And then my last routine, which I think it's a game changer, and it only takes a few minutes. You should do this every single day in the morning. You can do it also other times during the day, but it's to find time to take a little meditation, a tiny little meditation session. A few minutes can make all the difference. So don't put yourself a goal to do 30 minutes every morning. If you have time that day, fantastic. But 6 minutes, that's a little like magic number. That's a quarter agatica. That's an old way of measuring time. That's a little magical. And they found that 6 minutes can make all the difference. So what I do, I bring out whatever oil I feel like that day. I love to just follow my intuition. I feel like when you're doing the self-practice, there are almost no limitations. Bring the oil that you want. Rub your hands together, put it in your hands, rub your hands together, and just inhale the oil. Put on your timer. I love to use Insight Timer because it's got those nice little gongs. Please do put on a timer. If you don't have a timer on, you're gonna start being like looking at the time and get distracted. Put on your timer, 6 minutes, and just sit in stillness. And 6 minutes in stillness is a lot in the beginning. But it doesn't take you a lot of time. So it's absolutely doable every morning. Most people can manage to fit in 6 minutes.
Nice. I also love Insight Timer, just the timer itself, or finding one of the amazing free meditations they have. So if you like a guided meditation instead, that can be a great place to get that. So I also enjoy starting my day with meditation like that. And just those few minutes makes such a big difference. And then you can like increase it. So that's a great way. Other ways, like we have essential oils. That's an amazing way of starting your day, right? So for me, I always start my day with balance under my feet. That's also a great thing to use like in a yoga class, or when you just feel scattered in your mind, just putting that under the feet and then inhaling it. That's like a must for me. So what other oils do you use in your morning?
Depends on how I feel that day, which oils I choose. There are some that I always have something in my water to start the whole process of your body. So I really love to start the day with lemon. I think that's a fantastic one. So that's one that I always do. I have certain things that I use at night. I love Adaptive at night, and Serenity, and frankincense again. Apart from that, it depends from day to day what I love to use. I just like to follow my intuition. I feel that your body knows what you need, and that's also what I work on with my students a lot, just learning to listen to your body and trusting what the body tells you. So if the body's like, no, that's probably not good for you. If your body's like, yes, give me, that's probably what your body needs, because your body knows. And I know also that you're really into that, Elin, listening to your body and changing up your routines. So maybe also in relation to your monthly cycle, I know that's something that you know a lot about.
Yeah, I love to share about that. So I think with like whatever morning routine you set yourself, it's gonna change a little bit every day regarding how you feel. So one morning you might feel like just being very still and going inwards and journaling. Like these are great tools that I love to just journal, like just write my thoughts out on paper, put on some nice soft music, and just kind of get into this kind of bubble and sacred space in your own home. And even just rolling at the mat, putting on the diffuser, putting on some music kind of gets you in that space. And that can be especially beautiful if you're in your monthly cycle, you're in the menstrual phase, because that's where you really go inwards. And even the week before you expect your menstruation, because you're going to go inwards and be more reflective. You're not going to be so much like wanting to go out there. So really just tuning into that, like what do you need today? Because it's going to differ throughout the month. So maybe in other parts of your cycle where you have your ovulation, you're going to be more outwards. Maybe you want to go out for a run, you want to be more active, you want to do power yoga instead of yin yoga. And so your self-care is going to change throughout the month. And even if you don't have a cycle, you can just feel into your body and listen, like, what do I really want to do today? Like what would feel like joy to me? And some days for me, it's like putting on some loud music and just dancing, or walking barefoot in the garden. Like there could be small things like that that gives you joy, and just those things, just a few of those things just sets you up for an amazing day. And I feel like when I do that and put time for that, I get more productive, my head is clearer, and I feel more balanced and grounded in myself. So like no matter what things you want to like add to your routine, the most important thing is just to listen. And we're all different as well. Like some people like to have a routine and like do the same thing every day, and if you're like that, then go for it. But I think for a lot of us, we feel like stuck in that, and we like the freedom of just tuning in and doing what we feel like for the day and picking the oils that we're drawn to for that day. So that's kind of my favorite way of looking self-care. It's not a static thing. One thing works for everyone. It's like you find your way. And I think that's how it is in yoga as well. And I think you do that a lot with your students in the yoga studio, like helping them to listen to your own body. So what do you teach them?
So it's really the same with yoga. With yoga and oils, it's really the same thing. It's about trusting your body. People are always asking me, oh, which yoga to do, which oils to use. And yeah, I will help, I will give advice, absolutely. But in the end, it's you. You know what you need, and you need to start listening to that. I love what you mentioned about walking barefoot in the grass in your garden. This is one of the most amazing things you can do for yourself, walking barefoot. And I know it's hard for us being in Scandinavia because it's cold a lot of the time, but walking on the beach, walking in the garden, walking anywhere barefoot for earthing, for grounding, it's needed. It's a necessity. It's not even, and we do have a lot of mental health problems in Scandinavia, and that could be one of the reasons, because we actually need that. And yeah, it's cold a lot of the time, so it's difficult, but try to take just a little couple of steps, even on a cold day in your garden if you have the chance. It's one of the most amazing things you can do for yourself. Yeah, it will also help you to get in touch with yourself. And one of the things that I love about for me, oils is yoga. It's basically, I love to bring yoga into my everyday life, and I consider the oils part of my yogic lifestyle. And just taking a moment out, picking up an oil that you feel like right now, just if you have 10 seconds, you can do this and you can change your day. Just rubbing together and taking a few deep breaths with your oil. And that's yoga. And that's bringing yoga into your everyday life. It's more than just going to your class 3 times a week, or some people go every day, that's great too. But it's about those little things that you do in your everyday life that can really, really change your life. And as soon as you inhale that oil, you have no choice but to be present. That's the amazing thing about the oils. It's like yoga in a bottle. You just instantly come here and now. So yeah, oils for me is yoga, actually. I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about how I use the oils in yoga, because I know a lot of people are curious about that. I know teachers are asking me a lot, and I am working on a course for teachers, so you know that will eventually come out. But there are I don't want to say there's rules, but there are some rules. So when you practice yourself, there are no rules, there are no limitations. Whatever you feel like, any oil can be a yoga oil, but that's for your own practice. For my own practice, I can give you a little couple of tips that I love. I love to start the class with a little bit of balance. I have it both in the normal bottle and in the roller, and just having that under my feet, just to instantly landing a little bit on my mat. So that's a great way to start as well. I love Salabal. Salabal is a great one. I love In Tune. And for me, there are 2 different ways that I really focus on in yoga and oils. That's the uplifting and it's the grounding. So you can use, you know, for instance, balance for grounding. You can use lavender or serenity just to relax. Or you can use some of the citrus oils to elevate. You can use frankincense feels for me an elevating oil. I've used Melissa. I love Adaptive. It's a brand new oil, so, well, it's brand new in Europe, but this for me is going to be like my new yoga oil, even for classes actually. And that's what I want to get into, because as a teacher, you got to realize that you got a class full of very, very, very different people. And some might love an oil. For some people that might bring up something. So I tend to keep it a little bit safe, especially if I don't know my students. So I know the students at my studio very well, and I can mix it up sometimes depending on who's there, how many are there. But I like to try to go for oils that most people love. Keep it simple. And of course, you can put in the diffuser, which is great. And you might want to use something like bergamot. Who doesn't love bergamot? You can put a little bergamot in the diffuser. You might want to use some wild orange or even lavender. Some people have sometimes some emotional feelings with lavender, but people do love it. Most people do love it. I always like to mention, because I'm quite a tactile teacher, I love to give massages and adjustments. I always mention I use oils, essential oils, and I mention from doTERRA, they're super pure. Most people don't have reactions. I mention that I use the oils. I mention that I like to touch, and I give people the option to opt out. That's really important. You don't want to impose something on someone. You know, oils are very emotional. I can say though that most people are obsessed with oils and massage during a yoga class. That's that little extra thing that when they don't know, oh, am I going to go for yoga today? And they're like, oh, but Lisa's teaching the class. She's going to bring her oils and she's going to give me a massage. And they're just like, oh, I have to get there. I need that little touch. I need that oil. I need that little special love in the class. So I can say that can be that little thing that makes you stand out as a teacher. And I've got a few of I'm mentoring a few people. I also have a school. So I can see that they've started sort of using this as well. And they're quite fresh teachers and they've become very popular because of these little details. So that's so interesting. Like maybe you don't know as much as the most experienced teacher, but you're giving that extra little love and attention, and the students just love it. So also one other thing, so I use a lot of pressure points. So what I will do, for instance, in their final Savasana, I will choose an oil, an appropriate oil, something that's not too much. I come over to the person, I have the oils in my hands, I rub my hands together so that they already know that I'm coming to them. So they don't, you know, when you're in Savasana, you might get a little startled. And I just bring my hands down and I say, inhale deeply. And I let them breathe the oil first. I give them a moment and then I put my hands on them. Of course, I've checked and I know that they're comfortable with that because Shavasana is quite a private thing. So some people might want to be left alone. That's fine too. And I do a little bit of pressure massage. But if you were to say you wanted to do an actual, you know, like oil massage, that's so possible to do. And you can use the coconut oil, mix in a little bowl and add, you know, whatever, maybe aroma touch is a nice one to use in a yoga class like that, for instance. There are so many options. And yeah. One last thing that I want to mention though, I do also as a teacher use the oils for me for teaching. So not just in my own yoga practice, I use oils before the class. What about a little bit of adaptive on your wrists? For me, I'm not a big routine person, so I will choose what I feel like that day. I have a couple of things that I always stick to, but I have a big oil collection and I like to use it whatever I feel like that particular day. Like Elin was talking about, you know, just listening to your body, following your intuition. So, oh yeah, I went on a random one there, but yeah.
You know, it's something so special that you can give to your students, that experience of like the yoga and the meditation and also the oils. They give such a special, like aromatic experience where they can tune deeper into themselves. So it kind of brings their practice to a whole new level. And I think they feel spoiled sometimes, like they really get a treat by going to those yoga classes with the oils. And I remember early on in my own yoga practice, I went to this yoga studio in Oslo, and I remember laying there and thinking, oh, I need air right now. And I was not thinking air from the window, I was thinking air, oil. And I was just feeling this need for this oil to open up my airways, and just like how wonderful that would be to have that in that moment, because I was already using oils in my life. And I think once you kind of get to know the oils and to really dive into that experience, I think you're craving them, and they're kind of deepening and fulfilling different needs that you didn't know you had, and they're just going to deepen that experience and kind of open you up, no matter what kind of things. If it's like opening the airways, breathing deeper, which in yoga we know that the breath is like so important, and it brings us back in the moment, back into our body. And the oils, they just really help putting us back in the moment. And we can even anchor different feelings or states we want to experience with an oil. And like every time we use that oil, we will kind of get back, our brain and patterns will remember that scent. It's going to bring us back into that feeling. And so we can use it as an anchor and kind of help us to sustain this kind of mental or emotional feeling.
I feel like the oils is almost like cheating in a class. Even the most scattered student that's all over the place and not able to be here and now in the present, that's a big problem for all of us. That's what we work on. It's almost like cheating. Yeah, we use meditation, pranayama, breathing. We use that to be here and now, but this is actually, that takes time to get there as a student. And this oil is something that just instantly will bring you there. It's like cheating, but in a good way. It's not cheating, it's real, it's natural, but it's just such a great tool.
Absolutely. So I think lastly, I want to really dive a little bit more into mental health and how all of these things we've talked about ties together. Like right now has been a difficult time for a lot of people, with the coronavirus putting a lot of us in stressful situations, like working from home or taking care of kids, and just having different situations we have to deal with than usual, and being more isolated, like not being able to hug people or be close to people. So I think a lot of people, even for me, it's been challenging to fill that need. And so let's just dive into a little bit on some tools we can use, like with the oils, but also yoga, meditation, how that fits into making sure that our mental health is we're staying on top of that.
Yeah, so I was isolated in Thailand, and I can tell you that yoga, oils, and my students rescued me. So yeah, I was with my partner and my dog, and we had a wonderful time. We had a little pool and everything, but we were isolated, and it messes a little bit with your head. It was just the three of us every day, all day. We could almost not leave the house at all in Thailand. So for me, I was teaching online live to my students and basically doing yoga with them every day, bringing out the oils. And it was just a lifesaver. And of course, there are many of these oils that can really, really, really help with any emotions that you're feeling. Personally, I would say my 3 top favorites for feeling great long term, something that you should always use. I love copaiba and frankincense. And my new favorite is adaptive. I keep coming back to that, but it's because I'm very excited. I haven't had it that long and I love it, and it's definitely a new favorite. And that's a very instant effect as well. It's just like, oh, I just feel so balanced. And using the oils to uplift yourself as well. You can use any of the citrus oils, just, a little sniff, and instantly you get a good feeling. But you find your oil, which oil works for you, what oil makes you feel good.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think for me, it's been really to come back to my own practice and doing that at home and really having a stable oil routine in the morning. It's really helped me to have something that can fill me up. So when I don't have my friends around and I can't go to my yoga studio, I have to create that space in my own home. And I've been experimenting with this diffuser blend, which may be helpful for some of you out there, to kind of create that sacred space in the morning when you like take this half hour for yourself or however long you can take, but just putting that on, and that kind of helps your brain to get into that state as well. So if you have hinoki oil from a few months back, I think that was the product of the month.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you take 2 drops of patchouli, 2 drops of hinoki, and then 3 drops of grapefruit in the diffuser, that's amazing. It just gets you into this kind of state where you're in your body and you're taking care of yourself, and you're reminded that you deserve this love into your body, and you deserve to feel good. If you don't have hinoki, you could maybe substitute with sandalwood or cedarwood or something like really grounding and sacred. So that's adapted from Desiree Mangendag's Sacred Spaces diffuser blend. I love it. It's just helped me get into that state.
That sounds amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to try that. Also, I do want to mention to everyone who's having a home office, pretty please take breaks and do little stretches. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just laying with your legs up the wall for a few minutes can change your entire day. And even if you are in an office, so I used to work for the Norwegian government for a while, and I used to make everyone take a break in the middle of the day, and we'd go to the common area and we'd do like a 10-minute yoga break, and it's just little stretches and makes a whole difference. Especially if you're at home, you might not have the right like the right chair or the right seating, and it might be a lot for your body. So please do take your little breaks, tiny little bit. It's those little things that makes a difference. It's not that one yoga class that you make it to every week. That's great too. 1, 2, 3 every day. But it's those little things in your life that can make a huge difference, bringing yoga and oils into your everyday life.
I totally agree. And even just like having a bottle of oil and cracking that open, taking small breaks of just smelling the oil, which helps you breathe as well, taking deep breaths, that's gonna bring your stress levels down and you can focus better. And just, yeah, I totally agree on taking breaks throughout the day. There's so many tools, simple things you can do like that. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being on here with me and sharing your wisdom. If anyone wants to find Lisa and see some of her virtual yoga studio or her amazing yoga equipment that she has, you can find her on Instagram at
hot.yogini, or you can go to Hot Yoga Sula as well.
Awesome. And you can find me on Instagram just with my name, Elin Hemnes. And looking forward to hear from more of you and see how you integrate these beautiful practices and oils into your own yoga, however that looks for you. So thank you for being with us on this Yoga International Day, and namaste.
Namaste.